Hello, it's very much not Sunday today, which is probably why I might look a bit flushed because it's Monday. I've just logged off the computer and I've had two meetings, both of which were, amongst others, with a colleague who I actually dislike him as a person and don't actually find him that well founded in his work either, despite him wanting to show off and tell everyone he knows everything. And we may have gotten into a bit of a discussion at the last meeting. So, yeah. Which ended with my boss saying that I was more likely to know the given subject, or be informed on the given subject, since I'm the one actually dealing with those cases. So yeah, I should say I'm not the only one who dislikes him, so I feel a bit vindicated when others agree that they try to avoid him as well. Which is easy when you work from home, except when you have meetings where he's included. Anyway, it's Monday. I have a food order on the way. I say food, it's actually a takeout order. Um, for paella and fish, and I ordered double because I could decide, and that just means I have leftovers tomorrow. Uh, what else? Yes, this will contain very little knitting and sewing and a lot of purchases. So let's just get into it, and sorry about that sound, and just take it from here. And yes, this requires cold Pepsi Max. Right, knitting. My Rosa Parks. My Rosa Parks has seen some. Let's try to avoid there. Has seen some further knitting. Um, we have our little whale down there, and I've added 3 repeats. I am going for, I think, 8 repeats, and I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 repeats. So another 3 repeats and I can do the ribbing. Now, I don't think I mentioned it last time, but I definitely mentioned it the first time around. Rosa Parks, as per pattern, only has this pattern in front, but I didn't really like the look of that, or the look of that for what I had in mind, because I thought it was patterned on both sides when I saw the pictures. It wasn't until I read the pattern that I realized that the back wasn't patterned. As the back and front are equal, it's very easy to actually do the patterning on both sides. So I have a pattern on both sides, and I did consider making it cropped like, sorry, the penny that I'm wearing, but it'll be longer because, well, it has another 3, so it'll probably end around here. I can see the advantages of both. This is fine for wearing with, well, most things really. As you can probably tell, I'm wearing it with a top today, but it's a great length for going. Just poked myself with the needles for wearing on top of a dress as well. As I think I did a couple of episodes ago. But this will be quite loose and will end in 5 centimeters of ribbing. So I can actually push the ribbing up and have it be cropped like the penny when that happens, or I can leave it longer. So gives a bit of versatility. But yeah, I have actually been using, each repeat is 12 rows and I get lost a bit, so I've been using chocolate raisins, I know, controversial, to mark how many rows I have left. So I start out with 12 little chocolate raisins and then eat one each time I complete a row. Or a round, as it is knitted around. It's just an excuse to eat chocolate. Let's be honest. But it helps. This hasn't seen as much work. Oh, and this yarn is Lana Gato Eiffel, which is a mixture. I think one of the mixtures is yak. It's not. I bought it at Smokestack, but it was a discontinued yarn, so I don't know if you can actually get it anywhere else. It's very soft. It's a bit. It gives a bit of the same effect as mohair without being that really hairy one, but you know, a bit of halo and softness. So yeah. Still thinking about the sleeves because they are full length sleeves in the pattern, but I don't really care about that, as you can tell. But I am considering what I'm going to do. And I think this is my third skein that I've included out of 4 or 5. I don't know. I should have plenty of yarn. So yeah, there is that. Oh, and we'll just move the little whale up. So he can do his job for next time. I hope to have the body done, but well, I was preoccupied with my other knitting project, which is the Criterion by Wool and Pine Designs, which is this lovely color work. And last time I was up here, so as you can tell, I've worked a fair bit of knitting on this. It's quite addictive. It's not like, oh, it knits itself, but it is quite potato chippy. That okay, I'll just do one more round. I ran out of the green, which is not a problem. I have more, so that's why I ended where I did. I am on round 51 of 61, so we're getting there, and after this it'll just be plain stockinette all the way through. The yarn I'm using is Raume Finul. I'm using this, which is colorway 4087, which is this pinky-ish color. And these are leftovers from my Raume Genser. The 246 R dash 2, I think. And I do have another 2 skeins of the green. I have probably as much as this left over from a different skein of the pink. So I don't think it'll be any problem getting this done. I should have more than enough yarn. I'd be surprised if I need more than this skein, but I have the backup if I need it. Actually, let's talk yarn purchases, because it's relevant to this. Because, as I said, I have 2 other skeins of the green. Now, these are 50-gram skeins, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So 2 skeins aren't going to cut it. This is going to be a 3/4 length, full length jumper. So, I mean, hi. So, on Tuesday, so almost a week ago, I decided to go, because I bought this at Yarn Freak, this yarn originally, and I checked online, and she still had the same color, but not the same green, but not the same I've lost the word. What is the word? Dye-lot. Same color, but not the same dye-lot. It is a commercially dyed yarn, so it should be more consistent. They aren't always, but it should be even between dye-lots. So I decided Tuesday to stop work earlier for several reasons, and go downtown. One of the reasons was that from Thursday it's been mandatory to wear face masks in shops. Why is there a number calling me now? Sorry. Okay, so that was my takeout order, asking if they could arrive in 45 minutes instead of later, which is fine by me. As long as they don't push it back so that I'll have to wait for the food. Anyway, as I was saying, face masks are mandatory, so I had a couple of things that I wanted to get done before, or that I wanted to purchase for future things. So I figured, okay, I'll stop working earlier and I'll just go down to the shops before the new restrictions apply. So I went to Yarn Freak because I had to get more yarn for this. And as you might guess, this isn't just yarn for my jumper. I did get 4 skeins of the Raume, and I will just blend the new dye-lot with the old dye-lot when I get to the body. Shouldn't be a problem, they look pretty identical, but just, to have it done. So I got 4 skeins of this because I calculated that should be about what I need. I can always adjust the sleeve length if need be, but it shouldn't be a problem. Now, while I was there, I had talked to Charlotte about making a different jumper. the Breine sweater by Knitting for Olive, which is, let's see, this one, which is a fairly new pattern. It's two yarns held together, and she only suggests her own yarns, which is fine. The gauge is what's interesting because it says the gauge in pattern. As you can probably tell, the pattern expands, so you have more stockinette between your yarn overs and your center double decreases. Well, it isn't the center double decrease, but your decreases. So the whole in pattern is a bit, yeah. And I mentioned I was going there, so I could look at yarn. Maybe inspire Charlotte. I ended up being inspired because I wasn't really planning on buying yarn for this. Certainly not now, but I fell in love with this Sandnes alpaca, which is their DK weight alpaca. And this color is just exceptional. It isn't quite, it's more like this, I think. And I did make a small, I'll admit, swatch, and I like the fabric I'm getting, so I decided to knit it with this gauge, and I did try to use the, so like this, these all have different number of stitches between the yarn overs, so I did 2 of each. I mean, there is a difference in the fabric you get when you need the number of stitches to match what I have, but it works. It's not too open, so I can actually wear it without actually having to cover up, because even though, I mean, it is yarn overs, but I think it's not indecent. I mean, I wouldn't with this, but I feel like this is more open than this. I might change my mind when it's done. But it works out that I prefer things with very little to zero positive ease, and the pattern, the smaller size, which is 3 centimeters too small for me, and the next size up, the difference is 14 centimeters. So that would be 11 centimeters larger than my bust. I don't really want that. But with the changes in gauge, which I could try using a smaller needle to get the gauge that is recommended, but we're pretty close. I think the recommended gauge for the pattern, it has 2 different, but the sizes that I would knit is 21, and I have 20. So I'm going to knit the smaller size and then get a couple of centimeters of positive ease, which is ideal for me. Might not be your cup of tea, but it's what I like. So At some point I'm going to cast this on. I even left the needle in here. I am going to be using a 4mm needle to get gauge. I think her suggested needle is 4.5 centimeters for the 21 stitches. I'm a loosey-goosey knitter. I usually go down a needle size or two. So yeah, that's my purchases at Yarn Freak. I didn't purchase any more yarn on that day, but I had made a order. I had an order with Countess Ablaze. Countess Ablaze was my first hand dyer that I purchased yarn from, and I feel like she gets me. If you're a long-time viewer, you might have seen that I have the Bojo's Brexit Bonanza, the blue with the neon specks, and the Brexit colorway she made, which was black with neon specks. But yeah, I feel like she gets me color-wise. And on January 1st, this temporary arrangement with us still being able to order without paying customs disappears. So when I saw she had a Rebel badge, which is called Lessons Learned Too Late, and saw these two colorways on this yarn base, I had to try it. I have 4 of each of these. It is hand-dyed yarn and it is a luxury base. Sorry about the noise. It is on the Rebel fingering base, which is a 60% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 20% mulberry silk. So it's really soft and it shines. It really does shine. So I have 4 of these. You can't achieve your way out of childhood trauma, and 4 of money management. I don't know if you notice a color scheme going on here. But yeah, I couldn't resist. I don't know what I'm going to use them for. It is fingering weight yarn and I had to have them. Both because her Rebel batches are not repeatable. Once they're gone, they're gone. And sometimes you really have to regret not getting more. But also, Brexit just doesn't make sense in so many areas. So yeah, had to order these. I had to. Which is a lot of yarn purchases all at once, but I'm fairly good with using my new yarn. Not so good with using my stash yarn, but I'm trying. I'm getting better. And I am using leftovers. So, right. Oh, my little timeshare cat is outside. Hello. He's drinking the water that I've left out for the birds to bathe in. Well, I say left out for the birds. It started out by being just a plant thingy that was empty, and I'd emptied out the plant in it, and it... Hello. Sorry. It just filled up with water, and I noticed the birds were swimming in it. So I figured, okay, they can keep it. And then it turned really hot over the summer, and yeah. I have this black and white cat that will sometimes come up to the door and meow at me really insistently, asking to be petted. If you pet him, even if the door is open, he won't come in until you pet him, and then he'll try to make a run for it and get inside. So, yeah. But he drinks from the bird soup, as I like to call it. And that's what he's doing today, right now. So, yeah. He's a cutie. But he's not my cat. I call him my timeshare cat, or... Oh, that wasn't very appetizing. Oh, I think that's a help. There we go. I'll put him up on Instagram so you can see. But yeah, he comes here sometimes. I always greet him. Doesn't look like he wants to come up though today. Sorry about that. Anyway, that's all my yarn purchases. It is a lot, all at once, but I am claiming that some of it is very early birthday Christmas yarn that I already have, and some of it I needed. And I'm getting a refund on some stuff, so yeah. Sewing. I told you last week that I hadn't been sewing because I didn't really feel like it. And although I have my sewing mojo back, it hasn't really been in full effect. But I did pick back up this, my Passiflor by Deer & Doe. Passiflor can be a jacket, a dress, a shirt. It's basically just a matter of how long you're going to make it. And you do get two sleeve options. A long sleeve like this, and a short sleeve that's around here, I think. Maybe not even elbow length. Now, to test the pattern to make sure that it fits the way I want, I decided to use this fabric that I got last Christmas at the fabric mill, it's called in Danish, down from the area where I'm from. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough because this is lined, because it is also a jacket, so you don't want frayed edges. So the fronts are lined, also because you have this opening. I didn't think about how this would actually... Why am I faffing about with it? I'll just bear with. So, I mean, you could have it closed like this, but I don't really think... I mean, I can't imagine wanting to do that. It has this collar which goes down, and you have it is double breasted. I haven't put any buttons in. That's actually the next and final step I need to do. So I need to put a row of buttons here, a row of buttonholes here, a row of buttons here, and one button in here or buttonhole in here, one buttonhole here for a hidden back button here to keep it closed. But as you can see, and I didn't think about this when I thought, okay, I can just use some leftover fabric for the lining, but you can actually see it. Now, at first I was like, oh no, when I realized. But the color scheme for the floral pattern that you have here is sort of reflected in this. So I actually think it kind of goes for like a fresh pop. And on Charlotte's suggestion, because apparently I run everything by her, this is what the sleeve looks like. And yes, I opted for long sleeves because I felt like that's what this shirt needed and wanted. And I'm going to do the same with the dress that I'm actually going to make next. But she suggested that I use the same fabric for the inside of the cuff, so it actually looks like it's intentional that I have this different color. And I think it works. So yeah, as I said, I just need the buttons, but my brain just wasn't in it yesterday. My brain wasn't really up for much yesterday, which is why I'm recording today. So I need a button here as well for the cuff. Sleeves might actually be a bit too long. As you can see, I've turned off the cuff here. But yeah. This lining here covers the oh, that's the sleeve. This lining covers the raw edges of the princess seam you have here, or the side seam you have there, and that meant hand stitching the side seam of the lining. That's okay. I watched trash TV and did it. So yeah. And this means I can move on to the, yeah, and it also has a double yoke, back yoke. So it says to treat the seams for the side and the sleeves. I just did French seams because it's easy. Actually, no modifications were made to this at all. It's just the straight out of the pattern. So that's what I'm going to do with the dress, except I'm going to lengthen it 10 centimeters if I have enough fabric. Yeah. So I also purchased fabric. Actually, talking about the Passiflor, as I said, I'm going to. Okay, this is a bit cold. Where did I put my? There we go. As I said, I'm going to make a Passiflor dress. It's from a fabric that I got at Meter, which is from, I think it's from CUS6. Not too sure. Got it this summer, or in August. And I stopped in at City Stopper because I knew I needed buttons for it for the dress, but I wanted some special buttons. And here in town, City Stopper has a small wall of buttons. So I went in, sat down on the floor, because of course all of the gold, copper, metallic buttons were near the floor. So I took up camp there, and I ended up finding these, which have a bit of a shine. They look almost chestnutty, but with a bit of glitter in them. And I think they'll work really well with the fabric that I don't have on hand to show you. I think this is the least I've spent in City Stuffer ever, because I only got 10 buttons and they weren't all that expensive. I did go buy Meter because it's close to Yarn Freak, and because I wanted to make this new pattern by Sew Over It. Maybe I'm the one with the hairball. It's the let's find a good photo of it. It is the Esther blouse, which is a new release for them as well, and I just think it's so cute. It helps that this person used a fabric that I really love. I have a Irish blouse from Slow Paris Sunday, something like that. Which is essentially a wrap over shirt that is buttoned. So sort of like Passiflor, but without the color and with more a side button part. And again, you get the princess seams, and yeah. It's a very me shirt. There's no way around it. So I knew I wanted fabric for that, and I have looked at fabric on their website, and I had sort of decided, because I couldn't get that fabric, but I could get something else from Art Gallery. Another viscose, which is this one, which is really, really lovely, and probably needs to be this way up. So yeah, I know it's another blue shirt after just showing you a blue shirt, but it has a really nice feel to it, and it is a bit wintry with the red berries and the pale leaves. So I also got some of their ribbon, where I decided to match it with some of the paler berries, because I did look to see if I could find something that matched the background color, but it's a clear blue that you don't really get. It's not clear, but it's a clear dark blue, if that makes sense. So I thought, okay, if I need ribbon, and no one's going to see it, it's going to be on the inside. But yeah, I figured this would be a good substitute. And I also got thread for it. And where they have their ribbon, and I should say, I'm really loving that Meter has samples of all of their fabrics hanging, so you can touch them, you could feel the drape without having to pull out the entire big roll of fabric. But anyway, and you can steal it if you want to match something. Anyway, well, I was looking at the ribbon. All the ribbon is above a area where they have cutoffs that you get for cheap, and I saw this cutoff, which is a quite substantial cutoff, and I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but as I said, it's quite substantial. It is 140 centimeters by 140 centimeters. Oh, the light is terrible because it's so late. Sorry about that. But it has a mint backdrop, and I've looked at it before. It's a viscose as well. I've looked at it before, hemmed and hawed about it because I didn't know what I wanted to use it for. I might make a Megan Sutley, Megan Nilsson Sutley out of it, which has the round Peter Pan collar. It's just very simple because I think there might be enough out of this. I don't know. I just had to have it because 140 centimeters is a fairly large cutoff. The others were much smaller. It was just hanging there, enticing me. So yeah, purchased this as well. And that is all I have to show you this week. I do have some knitting plans, some plans that I haven't included here. I'm not sure if my binder sweater is going to be the next thing I cast on, or if it's going to be the Laurel jumper, which is it has color work but in stripes, and it's a laurel wreath almost going across your body or around your body. I have yarn picked out for it. That might be my next project. I might not be able to stop myself from casting something else on, because soon this will just be plain stockinette, and as soon as I get to the sleeves on Rosa Parks, it'll be plain stockinette. Given it's a smaller round of stockinette, but still plain stockinette, because I didn't change that. So yeah, I might cast on something else to have a bit of an interest. Might as well be the brine sweater, because I have the yarn right here. But on the other hand, I have the yarn for the other one skinned up right over there. We shall see. We shall see. Maybe. I mean, it's not too dissimilar to working on this, so. I don't know if you can hear the wind, but I can see a tree in the area that backs up to here. That's really getting shaken around a lot. So yeah, I hope to have more progress to show you on Sunday, not next week, on Sunday. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you. I hope you have a great week. Bye. Did I not? I didn't turn it off.